Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Lucid Motors, ticker symbol LCID. I just happened to have that one up there. I believe somebody posted about it. That intrigued me. So I wanted to kind of explore that, but happy to take requests. And I will note just like a couple things about tonight's stream. And so the first thing is standard for streams. If you do have a request, make sure you request one ticker at a time, just so that I can share the love, get around to everybody's requests, because it does tend to take me about 5 minutes or so per request just to explore the chart and whatnot. And also, I did put out a poll here. I'm going to pull it up actually. Let's see. If I go to the DGen Ed channel, go to the community tab, we can see here, I put out this post for, ticker request live stream tonight or Tuesday. Initially, there was only one vote, and that was for Tuesday. Initially it was one vote for tonight. Then it became three votes, two of them for Tuesday. And now it looks like we do have a majority for tonight. But because I am working tomorrow, and I think it might be fun to just get in the habit of streaming Sundays and Tuesdays, I am going to have a hard stop for this stream at 10 p.m. Eastern. So I'll stream for an hour tonight, but then I will continue to stream or stream again on Tuesday, just because this week, Sunday is like my Sunday, the end of my weekend. I work tomorrow early in the morning. And so it's kind of tough, like wrapping up weekend projects with the stream before getting ready for work and also getting ready for the market to open and stuff. Tonight's going to be just an hour long stream. And then, Tuesday is kind of like my, my Friday. I have Wednesday and Thursday off. So I will stream again on Tuesday. And, for that one, I'll probably have a little drink and we can hang out for more than an hour if there are requests. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there. I probably will do Sunday and Tuesday moving forward, just because I think it's nice to connect. And if it is quiet, then I can just explore stuff in the charts for myself. But yeah, I do see that there is one person that just recently joined. Let me know if there's a ticker that you are interested in. And, I don't know what the news was. Somebody posted it, I believe, on Twitter. Let's see. I don't know if I go to my profile and search for LCID. Did something? Nope. I feel like there's something that I liked or something. Maybe, yeah, that's what I should go to. My likes and find LCID here. Maybe if I just scroll, I think there will be something that should pop up. But let's see. I'm not sure who posted it. I'm not sure when it was. But let's see. Maybe I'm not going to get anywhere with this because I like a lot of silly things. So yeah, I don't know that I'm going to see it. Maybe it was TrendSpider or something. And so Scrubs is requesting GWH, so I'll add that up here. I might go over Lucid real quick, just kind of out of my own curiosity. And congrats on, what is it, LEU or the uranium stocks. I hope you didn't listen to me. I hope you didn't trim too much because, it moved up a lot. But then, yeah, just uranium is, or at least was, the place to be. But yeah, I will pull up GWH, which is S-Tech, and I'm not sure if that's right. But yeah, I'll pull that up there. And yeah, so let's check out this Lucid chart, which doesn't look so great, being down 2% on Friday, but on Thursday the 17th, down almost 18%, so pretty massive. And so, yeah, after this, I will pull up LEU just kind of out of curiosity, and then I'll go over GWH. But yeah, just thinking about, the Lucid chart, I might actually, because all these levels, they seem to really, be from the past. I'm just going to delete them all. Maybe that's a bad idea, but I'm kind of intrigued by these lows. Maybe we got caught by trend line, For me personally, I don't have a position in Lucid. I don't plan on establishing one, but I just thought this was, something to explore. Maybe let's see, 229. Yes, we broke below this level, so that's not looking so good. And, really, I just want to do a horizontal level, from the lows over here. It's 254, I believe. Yeah, so if I do that, we're, trading just above that right now. And yeah, I mean, you got to take this with a grain of salt, but because we did break below it over here. We did break below it again over here, but less so. Yeah, so I am kind of curious. Maybe this could keep fading. I think that this could keep going down. They have some reverse splits or anything? No. But yeah, I mean, let's see. I mean, I'm intrigued by this. Yeah, okay. So I think, because I'm trying to do like if I were to get into a position, I need to have a stop loss identified. And so for me, that stop loss is kind of like 229. That is the 52-week low. I believe that is the all-time low as well. And so, from 254, that is a downside risk of about 10%. When you got, an upside potential getting up to like 443, 73%, or even just filling this gap, 27%. So I feel like, the odds are in the favor of this potentially being a nice little trade over here. And so let's see, I'm just going to go to the close here from the 16th. That was at 328, lined up right there. And I'm just going to make the dashed thick blue line to show that there is a gap there. And yeah, so, I mean, I don't plan on establishing a position in this, and I probably will not on Monday. But what I might do is place an alert, let's see, at 250. And so what I should do is probably just delete this above one, delete this below one, or above one again, and then below 250. So if price dips to 250, then, I might be intrigued because then I could have a stop loss at 229. And, yeah, because if it does hit a lower low, then it's like, well, I don't know where this is going. But it could be at some, not necessarily support, but yeah, I mean, like with this line here, I'm just gonna make that a little bit thicker. So it's kind of like caution line. This is like a red line. Don't want to go lower than that. And from this, just thinking about maybe there's a fib level, 229 up to the high here of 443. And I am really just curious, what is the 786? That's at 275. So, I mean, we did kind of get a fake out break below that. Yeah, so I mean, maybe there's something there. I have to say I'm intrigued, and I might actually be so intrigued that I am going to adjust this level to that prior low of 254. And if that gets hit, maybe I'd establish a small position, maybe get 10 shares just to kind of, get more practice with the stop losses and whatnot. And, thinking that 229 seems like a good level. And if I lose 10%, no big deal. If I make 27% or something, then that's great, even if it's just 10 shares. And so, Anfadru, if you request one of those, I would be happy to go over them, but I'm only going to do one ticker at a time, and then once I go over your first request, I'll follow up with the others. So yeah, let me know which one of those three that you're most interested in. I'll go over that one first. But before I get into the GWH, I'm just going to pull up the uranium stocks because they've been on a real rampage. I had been aware of these other ones like URA, which is the uranium ETF. I was talking about them when they were over here, thinking about this, orange line here. And actually, like, I did not plan this out. Did bounce pretty nicely, double bottom with that yellow line there at 227, right around there. It looks like the low is not 227, 2270. And so the low was 2279, so pretty close there. I had drawn these levels based on probably, I think, the monthly, or no, the weekly. Yeah, and just kind of thinking this is a big cup and handle. And so, yeah, we got kind of a break below, big move higher, and yeah, it's just been on a rampage. I'm not in it, don't plan to get into it, but I think that fundamentally uranium makes a lot of sense. Nuclear power makes a lot of sense. I think the one, so I kind of charted URA, but I think the one that I had traded was NXE. Again, I had drawn the same type of like yellow line down there. I kind of like mimicked them. And this was at 509, hit a low of 495. So that would have been a really great level to have a buy order at. Even if it's just one share and then it puts it on your radar, like, oh, actually, this is kind of intriguing. Up 63% from that yellow line. URA is up, from the more recent low over here, 45%. LEU, just total rampage. I mean, I feel like it's going to come back to around 70, but no idea. From the lows over here, it's up almost 200%. That's just crazy. So, yeah, I'm just blown away by that. And Benjamin, hey, what's up? Yeah, so you guys requested Blink and ChargePoint, so I'll pull up the EV charging station stocks in a minute. We could look at both of those charts. I think it's a really nice compliment with Anfadru and Benjamin there. So I'll do that, but I'm first going to go over Scrubs's request for, let's see, I'll ChargePoint here as well as Blink, but I might flip over to the EV charging station stocks so we could look at EVgo because I know that one's been pretty crazy. But yeah, so looking at GWH, this one, let's see, it looks like kind of, big down move, and this is like pretty steep consolidation. So like at first glance, I was like, that looks like it could be a bear flag. But the reality is it's gone up a good amount and it's consolidating over here. So I feel like levels to like be paying attention to. We don't want to see like closes below 764, the low from Thursday. Don't want to see a close below that level is what I would keep. Actually, I mean, because it could be bullish consolidation, like downtrending. And so I guess, ideally it'd be good to not get closes below 764. But if it does, just keep an eye if it's like a downtrending channel or if it's more like, I don't know, I don't want a horizontal line, I want an array. If it's going, just connecting the lows from those 2 days to the low from, let's see, the 14th and the 17th, I guess. So just over the past week, the lows from the past week. Because if I do it from Tuesday's low, it's not really that steep of a downtrend. So, I think that's kind of like a nice level to keep an eye on. But yeah, let's see. Just trying to think, how could I draw this? So, okay, from the low here up to the high, down to the low here, I could do a Fibonacci extension, and we could see where that takes us. So I'm just doing that from the low, from it looks like March 22nd. Then up to this high, it looks like was higher than the high over here. Form kind of a double top there. And then I will pull this down to here. So, this is all, probably take it with a grain of salt. But let's see. I think that, I didn't include the 236 or the 382. Kind of convenient that we're just trading above the 50% there, but I think that looks good. And I feel like if this is to be, going a lot higher, it could be getting up to like 13, maybe 18. I'm not really sure. What is this company, though? I should probably look that up. Let's see. ESS Tech is a long duration energy storage company specializing in iron flow battery technology. The company designs and produces long duration batteries using earth abundant materials. Its batteries provide flexibility to grid operators and energy assurance for commercial and industrial customers. Its technology addresses energy delivery, duration, and cycle life in a single battery platform that compares favorably to lithium ion batteries. So, anyways, well, I guess maybe I'll continue with the next sentence because this is interesting. Using its iron flow battery technology, the company is developing two products such as Energy Warehouse and Energy Center. The Energy Warehouse that offers energy storage ranging from 6 to 12-hour duration. Energy warehouses are deployed in shipping container units, allowing a turnkey system that can be installed easily at a customer's site. Energy center solutions are designed specifically for utilities, independent power producers, or IPPs, and large commercial and industrial consumers. Its batteries are non flammable and non toxic. So, the thing that intrigues me about this company, after having read that, is that we're moving into the winter season. There have been some like freezes and stuff in Texas, and just strain on the power grid. So this actually seems like it could be we could be moving into the appealing season for a company like this, with power outages, ice on lines, whatnot. And I might actually draw a trend line over. I don't think it's going to be significant, but I'm just going to see what's over here, going from the lows that were hit. Oh man, around March 9th of 2023, and then over to these lows. Just kind of curious. Yeah, I didn't want to like use this as a pivot point because then it's like it's not really given too much information. But we broke below there and then going higher. And so for this, I feel like fundamentally it makes a lot of sense. They did just do a reverse split of 1 for 15. Nice to have that behind you. And, 1 for 15, kind of annoying to have to figure out the number of shares you'd have after that or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we could look at the RSI that was, just after the reverse split on the 28th of August. The RSI was 22.13, so below 30, hung out around 30 for a couple weeks, and then it's moved up. Currently now it's around 63.24. Looks like it almost got into the 70 range, getting to 65.82, pulling back a little bit. So I think it could be going for another leg up. The MACD has just been like super positive for a while, and it does seem like it has kind of like long spells of very red or very green, and we're kind of in like a green spell. So I mean, I think that this looks really good. I just keep an eye on this downtrend and to see that we're not I don't know, like and then I guess the other side of that, for this being a downtrend, want to be seeing like closes getting higher. And so I was saying like don't want to see a close below like 764, but really if it's downtrending consolidation, it's not that big of a deal because it's still a bull flag. But as far as like higher closes, though, it would be really nice to see the price getting up to, and this should be magnetized there, yeah, to 874. So yeah, I don't know how helpful that is, but I don't know what the LOL is for, scrubs, but yeah. I mean, I think that this looks like a smart play. And like, to be honest, I'm I've been following, natural gas pretty closely, largely just paying attention to what Gareth Soloway says about it during his either daily game plans or daily trading the close. And, I had a nice swing with short natural gas, KOLD. And I think that natural gas is still going to come lower. I don't have my short position anymore, but I'm waiting to buy the dip on that. And then I think that could be like a really nice, safe bet for a while. And just like energy in general. AI is energy intensive. Bitcoin is energy intensive, which is rallying. And I think just like, innovation is energy intensive. And that's kind of what sparks becoming more energy efficient. And with that being said, whether it's natural gas, whether it's uranium or nuclear or battery solutions, energy solutions like GWH, which is ESS technology or S technology, yeah, I mean, I think that they're all very intriguing plays, especially with the season changing into winter. Last winter, at least where I live, wasn't terribly bad, but we did get a really bad blizzard that kind of shut things down for a week. But I still had to work, and it was no big deal. So yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be going higher. And speaking of this potentially being a bull flag, the RSI even looks like it's in a bull flag. So yeah, I mean, I could see this going up to maybe $10 a share and then reevaluate around there. And the reason why I say that is not necessarily because of this fib extension level at 1013, but really because of this consolidation that we see over here. So like I think that's going to act as some resistance, just really this range over here. And so I might color that red and let's see. Yeah, just kind of like that. I think that might be a good level to keep an eye on. Maybe I should make that yellow or green, or something that doesn't really suggest direction. Yellow, I don't know. Just to keep an eye on that. Seems like a good level. Oh, ESS equals external storage systems. Cool. Yeah, so I think that there's definitely a lot of application with that, especially because like we need to like across the US like revamp the energy grid. And as we're having blips, as we're having issues with that, or even working on it, kind of this kind of energy solution system, energy storage systems seems like a good play. And also with like construction and stuff too, it seemed like that was kind of their one aspect of their their deals. But hey, Nameless, what's up? Yes, I will update on Path, and I have to say, somebody, I believe I reposted it on X, but somebody, I believe Mr. Chart Norris, was posting about it. And I can tell you what I did on Friday. I didn't buy any, but I think I placed a limit buy order that wasn't filled. And Mr. Chart Norris seems to be a really good, like, analyst as far as he'll just post a chart with very little explanation, and you can just look at it and be like, that's bullish or that's bearish. Just very crystal clean. And so I really like his stuff. A lot of people will say things that are kind of cryptic or just, I don't know. They're a little bit tougher to read, but I feel like he's a really straightforward guy. So I feel like Path is probably a good play. But I am going to first switch over to, let's see, ChargePoint and Blink, kind of try to do them in that order. But I will also consider looking at EVgo. This one, man, yeah, I just had to start with this because it's just been on such a rampage. And like, why aren't ChargePoint and Blink going up like this? So, just taking a measurement out of curiosity, going from like the lows at the beginning of October up to current price up over 100%. So yeah, EVgo, share the love with the other EV charging stocks like ChargePoint. And so this one, I actually think I had a buy order at 130, and I think I upped it to 132. Let's see. I'm just opening it up on my phone because that's where I do my trading at, just because I'm, work, whatever. And I don't want to like expose any of my information by logging into my Webull account on the computer. But yeah, so basically, what I've been doing with ChargePoint, if you guys are curious, I try to get my positions to be in 100 share increments so I can sell covered calls, or just because I shouldn't undercommit, and I should pick levels that really stand out to me and not like, oh, well, I can just buy a few more shares lower. It's like, no, I need to commit more. I have an issue with that. And so on October 3rd, let's see, where is that? Over here, I picked up 10 shares, 10 more shares at $1.25. So the low on the day was 130, but that was an order that was filled at 4:18 in the morning, so during the pre-market trading at 125. And so I kind of picked that level because it's a higher low than the low over here. That was filled only 10 shares. If I would have had a 100 share order there placed, it may have not been filled just because it's kind of like, a fluke. Just 10 shares, no big deal. And then I had another order filled, 10 shares at $1.30 on the 11th. So that's where the cursor is here. And the low for that day was 129. And, I just feel like we're kind of in this uptrending level. It's kind of like tough to see. I'll make it thicker. And I'll make it, let's see, purple. I really like purple. I just think it's a nice color. I'll make it a little bit thicker there. So yeah, it's like this uptrending level. And so, I added 10 and 10. And so now I have kind of like X number. Let's see. I know I've got more than 1,000 shares, but I've sold some covered calls, so it's showing me I got 720 shares. And, for me, it's like, well, I kind of like to get another 80 shares just to get that to be divisible by 100. And so I upped my dip buy level from 130 to 132, and I have 80 shares placed at that price because I think, thus far, it looks like we're, consolidating here and holding higher lows. Maybe it's a bear flag, maybe it's bearish consolidation and we break. But, with that being said, 80 shares isn't like a super ton amount. At 132, let's just pull up the calculator so we can see, 80 shares times 132, that's like $100. So it's like nothing too crazy. And so that's kind of my stance, is just like for getting my average down, I'll get another 80 shares at 132. But if that breaks and we start to go like below 123, I am just going to kind of like step back and see like, okay, where's this going to? Maybe I get another 100 shares at like, I don't know, if we're maybe around 1, to be honest. Because if we're breaking below 121, that's, higher lows over here. Hey Chris, what's up? Thank you for gifting people memberships. And I have to say, one of the things that I've been doing with memberships is I did put out like a members only video this week, but I don't tend to do that too often. What I try to do is I try to share trades that I make, usually, which is like an options. And so whether it's you're interested in options or not, you can get kind of a sense of, am I bullish or bearish? And I've been picking up a good amount of calls for like June of next year, that expire of June of next year, because my theses, are like they're gaps that we're going to fill. And so kind of like that. And so, yeah, so anyways, I think that ChargePoint looks good until proven otherwise, which would be like breaking below this uptrend and like hitting a lower low. So like I don't want to see it. So the low on October 2nd was 128. So like I don't want to see price going below 128 during market hours. If it goes below 128 during pre-market or after hours, that's fine. But if it's during market hours, I'd start to get concerned, because then that's starting to form a lower low rather than a higher low. And yeah, so, and I mean, also, with time, time can be the enemy. It can also be, our friend. And so there's this downtrend here that we have struggled to stay above. Time has broken us out of that. So, I mean, I think this just looks good, but I mean, I'm biased. I hold, yeah, and I guess I should tell you, I'll tell you what my position is, or what my average is. I think it's down. It's not too crazy or anything. So in total, I have 1,220 shares, and my average is 231. So I'm pretty negative, but no big deal. That's like getting back up to here. So that's kind of makes me sad, but it is what it is. And I think it'll be going up. So, and if not, this is kind of like one of my decided long-term holds. So I'm not too concerned. And then going over Blink, this one, this is like bounced really nice, gone up a bunch. Did get this higher close, so I think that looks good. The thing that I always kind of struggle with, which is like the confirmation signal, Gareth Soloway talks about it all the time, when it's like when you get a higher close that's just like showing strength, and confirming. But here it's like, well, what is the level that we're confirming above? I think it's just good that it's closed strong for the week, up almost 4% on Friday. Over the course of the past week, let's see, it went up about 6%, so pretty good over there. I mean, with this big move, though, I feel like it could get a little exhausted and maybe pull back some. And so I'd look, this wick high from October 4th was at $1.99. That is, right around $2. So, I mean, I could see a pullback and like a retest of $2, and I wouldn't like sweat that or anything. And just like with ChargePoint, we want to see higher lows being formed. And so here, connecting these two pivot lows, one being the low from September 9th, the other being the low from October 2nd, we have this nice uptrending level. We're not close to that. We're not testing it, so I think that that's like kind of like a last line in the sand, and then there's this other level that I've got here, which seems like maybe it's a little hand wavy, but that's based on these two lows. First, that one from September 9th, and then this other one from September 25th. And so this one is also kind of, one to be paying attention to. We did, let's see, get two closes below it. But that not being too significant because we got a break below that level, but then we did not get a secondary close lower than that low, so that was not a confirming close on this day because we closed higher and then broke back above. So that was actually like a good dip buy opportunity on the second, is what it looks like. And then from there, move up consolidation. A thing that's like a little bit concerning about this is big green candle here, some kind of consolidation here. Inside bars. This one's not an inside bar, but my understanding of an inside bar is that you've got a big candle and then you've got candles. The bars are inside of that one. So this one opened up a little bit higher, but for the most part, trading within that range. Then get this massive bearish engulfing candle, but then that is, let's see, what was the close on that day? 186. The open the following day was 186. So not necessarily a bullish engulfing candle here, but that is a bullish reversal, which is, you see a big move down one day, and then you completely see those losses, given back what was lost here, given that back, and then it's gone higher. So, I think this is looking good, but I could definitely see a retest of 2. And if it breaks to, coming back to this orange uptrend might be happening. So maybe I'll do a Fibonacci retracement to get an idea of that. Just doing that from the low of 163 there to the high here of 214. Just making sure that low was 163, and that does look right. And so, with this, the 786 is at 174. So, I don't want to see price coming down to that level, but it could be, by the end of October and still be respecting this this red uptrend. If it were to respect this green, I don't know what I'm saying with colors. I'm just tired. This orange uptrend, I'm not colorblind or anything. I'm just tired. Let's see. Let's the 50%. Let's see. Where's that 50% level? That, kind of corresponds with right there. So maybe let's look at the 618. So 618 would be too late. 190 about is the 50% level right there. So like I'm kind of intrigued by that. If it does break to 190, look for that to hold, and then that could be still respecting this orange uptrend. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that's helpful, but I just feel like with the moves that we've seen with EVgo, which, it's like one, like a strategy that could be made is like after this has gone up so much, it does look like, I have to say this, I don't have any puts on EVgo, but it is putting in some topping signals, which is, you got this big green candle here, then you got an inverse hammer candle, big wick to the top side, closing in the like bottom couple cents of trading on that day. Then there's a spinning top here, which is kind of like indecision, but it is a lower close, big wicks to the top side. And so, yeah, I mean, I could see, this coming down to like 528, or $6. I think that's pretty reasonable. And so with that being said, if this were to come down, Blink and ChargePoint, since they haven't, especially ChargePoint, it hasn't really gone up. It's still kind of trading at the lows. These could be moving up as, this moving up more as, this does pull back. And just, out of curiosity, I'm going to pull up the options just to look at the puts. And, I have been looking at, so here you can see puts there. I don't do like weekly stuff. I like to look far out because I just find, I'm not emotional about it. My thesis, it can take time for it to play out. I just get one contract initially. And so, basically thesis is, let's do a Fibonacci here to kind of like back this up a little bit. So the low over here was 381. So I got that lined up there going up to the high of 880. And so, yeah, like 630, that's a 50% retracement. And then let's throw up the, oops, not that one, this 618. That's around, 570. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like $6, I could see it pulling back to that. Maybe, bumps into some resistance around 7, but let's think 6, 7, maybe 5. Those are some options here that we've got. And I'm going to look at the May 16th expiration. I know that's like 7 months from now, so it's really not that exciting, but I think that there's, a good amount of potential to make some money, because there's time for one to be wrong. And if you only get one contract, you can easily get the average down plenty of time. And so, let's see, I was thinking 7, 6, 555, anywhere around there. So one contract of 7, that's $245 to risk. That's kind of a lot for me. And so even, $6, that's, 175, still a lot. $5 though, 65, I could see this pulling back to just like 6. And that $5 contract going from, 65 to, 20%. Let's not be too greedy. It doesn't have to double or anything. But yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by that. Not going to establish a position in it. But I feel like that could be like, this seems like it's going to be pulling back. Maybe that's going to happen with ChargePoint and Blink. But I feel like they're both, like Blink, I feel like could cool off a little bit like to 2 or 190. Like I said, ChargePoint though, I feel like if it does go lower, it's probably going to be going to new lows. But I mean, I think they look good, and I think that they need to make up for the gains that EVgo has had, and EVgo needs to kind of give those gains to them. Distribute that a little bit. But anyways, I'm going to pull up the other requests. I've been rambling a lot about EV charging stocks. And so I think I've got, sorry, and also Chris, I appreciate the gifts and everything. I know everybody appreciates that. So I'm just going to catch up on the requests, and then I will definitely look at laser. So let's see. Would you mind looking at laser? Of course, I'd be happy to. I will do that, but I'm first going to go over path because that was requested, and also it does bring up Mr. Chart Norris, who I think is a great person to follow on X. He always posts like very simple, very clear, easy to understand charts. And he did post one on Friday on Path, which I did retweet, so I should be able to find that pretty easily. And so, yeah, Chris just gifted a bunch of stuff to people. So to Sean, Michael, Marcos, and Anand. Thank you, Chris, for doing that. I appreciate that, exposing people to becoming members, and I hope you guys do enjoy the content. I did just put out a video. I can actually pull it up so you guys can see it. Let's see, let's see, I don't know if this will pull up what is available for members. Yeah, I put out this video a few days ago, thoughts for members, really just going over how I've exited like a lot of my short positions, and really that I just need to be better at identifying levels, sticking to them, waiting for them, and like buying the dip and having a stop loss if in case I'm wrong. So regardless of being right, I'm in and out of positions. If I'm right a week later, maybe I'm up 5%, maybe I'm up 20%, whatever it is, in and out trades. So just trying to get better with that. And I think like Biora is kind of a really nice example of, just being in a fading trade. And so I did have a stop loss for that. That got filled, and I'll be trimming the rest of my position over the next month, really, as covered calls expire. But the point here going online is because I wanted to go to, let's see, my profile, and I'm just going to go here. And I did a post recently. This is like a crazy one. Sometimes people post these like log charts, and if you count the bars here, the lines, Doge from like right here, it went up 5 lines. Doge from right here, it went up 5 lines. Kind of repeating the path, going up 5 lines. That would put it at $5, not $1. That's crazy. Anyways, let's see. It would have been from Friday, I believe. Yeah, so this is what Mr. Chart Norris is saying. So there's his handle. I recommend following him. Very simple, nice, straightforward guy. Nice, I have no idea, but he seems very straightforward, and he's not a dick or anything. So I'd recommend following him. Posts a lot of charts like this. And so, for me, I would kind of think this looks like, drawdown consolidation. That's like a bear flag. But so what he's saying, this is the monthly chart update, double bottom formation in conjunction of hammer at bottom. And so, what he's saying here is it looks like for the months, the prior 2 months, I guess this is October as well, so it's not ended, but it does look like a double bottom there with hammer candles. So he's still loving it. And I think that he's, given that double bottoms, that's bullish. Hammer at the bottom, that's bullish. I always get kind of confused by the hammer emoji there. I think people maybe they just mean that it formed a hammer. I'm not really sure. But from his analysis, which, in all honesty, I trust his more than mine. He's definitely very proficient with the charts and stuff. Very technical trader. I can't argue with that. And within this range, going from current price up to around 1746, he's got that mark there. That's just going to the top of that range. Also, it looks like there's a moving average there. So I might want to pull that up. And so let's see. Let's look at the chart path over here. Yeah, I feel like, from what I've drawn on this, and I think one of the nice things too is when you get two people doing different analysis, then and they kind of their theses not necessarily confirm each other but support each other, then I think it's good. You want like multiple things lining up. So anyways, that yellow uptrend is based on the lows from the end of 2022. And then also like the lows over here in like May of 2024. And so from that, we did break below it a couple times, but currently we're trading above it. does look like we got above this level, closed nicely above 1281, which I imagine I went over this last week. And yeah, I mean, so that's looking strong. If I do flip over to the monthly time frame just to kind of see what Mr. Chart Norris is talking about. Yeah, so he's got these, let's see, these hammer candle here for that would be June, another hammer candle here for August. And so that's what he's showing here. So this is from the end of August, yeah. And so he's still saying that he's still loving it. There's a bug in here. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to kill it. But anyways, yeah, I mean, he's still loving it. And this is also too, like, this is just like, boring people out of positions. The market like is great at doing that. And so it seems to me like, it's like hanging out down here and now putting in higher lows for the monthlies. So August had the low of 1037. The low for September was 1166. The low so far for October, let's see, is 1189. Seems like we're going higher too, so we're putting in higher lows. And yeah, I'm going to switch back over to the daily throughout the drawings. Yeah, I mean, I guess the next level that I would really want to be seeing closes above the high here from September 24th. Looks like it was 1309. We almost closed above that. So I'd look for that because then that would be the highest close. And this actually, the close from Friday is the highest close that we've seen since, man, when was the last time we closed that high? It's been a while. Like the last time we closed as high as we are now was July 5th. And then it like broke down right after that. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that this is looking good. Putting in these higher lows on multiple trend lines. Like here, this trend line we still are doing higher lows, even though we broke below that trend line. This is still a higher low. And from that, we've got this trend line. And we're now above this initial trend line. So I think it's looking really good. And so I can tell you the order that I had placed on Friday. I have to scroll my phone for a second just to pull it up. And let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to check it out on my phone. I end up like a bunch of orders end up getting canceled on Friday with options and then I replaced orders over the weekend. Yes, so I had a limit buy on Friday that I placed for the day at $13, and that was not filled. And that was just for one share, just to kind of see what happens. And I'm probably not going to get into it just because I'm kind of like, I've been like really excited about the videos that I've been putting out because I'm in those positions. And yeah, I mean, I've been like picking up some calls. I'll probably do a video on options maybe tomorrow or on Tuesday, just probably tomorrow. And then I'll do a follow-up on AMC calls. Just because, I'm looking at, like more than 6 months down the road. And actually, maybe that's something that's of interest with this because it's just like bored people out of their minds the past few months. And, I don't see any like higher lows. You can see here, it looks good. It's not breaking down. And, looking at the monthly, like Mr. Chart Norris is doing, he's bullish on this double bottom. This is boring people out. That means options premium is going to be pretty cheap because it hasn't been too volatile. And so let's see. Yeah, let's look at this. Where's like a target for this? $14, this high, that's a target. We also got this gap here. Let's say that is a target. We've consolidated now for quite some time. This close on May 29th of this year was at a price of $18.30. And so, maybe this is something that I would get interested in just because it's kind of like ridiculous to go up to like $18.30. I feel like it's kind of ridiculous after it's been consolidating down here for so long. And so let's look at some call options. So I'm going to switch from puts over to calls. and I'm going to look at like well into the future. I've been doing when it's available, June 20th. I've been enjoying that. And so like 18 bucks, let's see, that's about where this gap is. And so let's see, after we've been bored out of our minds, maybe we're going to be moving up to fill this gap. And so who knows if that's going to happen next week or next month or 4 months from now. June 20th seems like it's a safe bet. And so one of those calls, $18 strike, 90 bucks. And that gives you exposure to 100 shares, like 100 shares of volatility, 90 bucks. And we can see here though that the theta for that is, yeah, I mean, it's less than a penny. So like this might go down to like 89 cents on Monday, but it's just like nothing too crazy. Maybe I want to pull up some unusual whales information. So I'm just going to do the overview for Path. What's going on with Path? Maybe there's something that stands out here. I'm just going to go back 14 days here. This is, so in yellow, what you have is the price. You know, it's been kind of boring, but going up. Green is the net call premium, whereas red is the net put premium. And nothing's been like too crazy. But yeah, because I mean, like you see the net call premium go up here and then it just goes down. And so yeah, nothing's like too crazy standing out right now. But I'm also not that familiar at really like diving into unusual whales. It's like the thing that sucks is like I want to dive more into unusual whales, but I don't have time with work. I don't have time with a channel, and I like making videos, excuse me, and then just like wrapping up projects before winter. So hopefully in winter I can dive more into unusual whales. But yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued by this going up to 18 in the next 8 months. I think that could definitely be happening. And a way to get exposure to that, rather than buying 100 shares at $13, one could buy one call contract with a strike of 18 that expires in June for 90 bucks. Or, you know, I guess I should also look at the May option, $18. That's still 90 bucks, $87 to buy one of those. And you get an extra month with the June contract. So I have to say I'm intrigued by this. If I have $90 on the side after tomorrow, maybe I would pick up one of these. But shares, no, I mean, I'm trying to do more long dated calls. I just think that's like a good way to have a plan in and out, thesis set, done, move on to the next one. And so I've already gone over ChargePoint extensively, so I'd recommend checking out the earlier part of the video, because I ramble on about ChargePoint, about Blink, and about EVgo, because both of those were requested. So Saul, I'd recommend going back to it, and because I am probably going to be ending this stream in about 7 minutes, just because I got work tomorrow, and instead, since I'm doing kind of a shorter stream tonight, I'll do another stream on Tuesday because I don't work Wednesday, and so I can kind of just hang out that evening. And so I just need to catch up on the other requests here. Laser is next on the list, and then ChargePoint already covered it. I'll throw up Clove here, and also NIVF, which is New Gen IV Group. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I'll look up them. And so let's see here. What's the next one? Luminar. All right, so here, let's see. So this is probably, yeah, I mean, I feel like there's like some, I don't know, fundamental or maybe like tinfoil hat aspects to Luminar, which is just like, you know, how long does it take in full self-driving to be released by Tesla? Like, it's taken forever. The robo-taxi event was like cool, but Elon promised, 2026, and then he's like, well, I tend to be optimistic with deadlines, with dates, so sometime in 2026. So basically he's saying by 2027. But it's like those always keep getting pushed, and like with Tesla being like all about cameras and stuff, having used some Luminar technology, maybe it was just to like check their systems to see if maybe there's a benefit to Luminar, maybe and they decided there's not. But yeah, I mean, and like the big thing with a robotaxi is that, there needs to be regulations regarding that. Like you can't just create the car that drives people around and then just unleash it. It's got to be allowed. And I feel like California will be a place for that, testing that. They seem to be more friendly with that kind of, testing tech on the streets. But, if I was a regulator and I saw the technology of LiDAR and the technology of cameras. And like for me, I have to go to work before, in the summer, it's light out when I go to work. But now until like, I don't know, it's going to suck, April, I'm going to work when it's dark out. And I have to back out of my driveway. And my backup camera, how helpful is that? I live on a dark street. I can't see anything. And, maybe there's, there are animals, deer, squirrels, bunnies, stuff like that in my neighborhood. Maybe I hit one of them. I don't see him. Maybe there's a kid back there. I don't see it. And, I think that like Luminar or LiDAR specifically, if let's say I have it registered in my vehicle, as this is my home. And so the LiDAR, Luminar, the software, I would think could be paired with camera, with visuals, to then have a 3D map, photorealistic 3D map of my driveway. And so whenever I'm backing up, LiDAR would be scanning to add information into there. And it could also probably be scanning for, oh, there are deer in this guy's neighborhood. And so maybe there's a deer behind me when I'm backing up and the camera can't pick it up, but there's data stored in the software from the camera, from the LiDAR. And so it could then, using AI, map the deer that's behind me. And so I would see it crystal clear in the display on the car. And so, yeah, I mean, I just feel like that's a much better future than just using cameras. Like cameras are an analog technology. They're in the digital space, but it's like Kodak, it's like Polaroid. Why are cars relying on camera, on visual, when there's the 3D mapping, high res visuals of places in 3 dimensions that are not interfered with by whether it's dark out, where the sun is on the horizon, if it's bad weather out. One of the things that also stood out to me, which I think is cool, sorry, I'm just going on like a Tesla rant here. Not that I don't like Tesla, I just think that Luminar needs to be a part of that picture. But it's like, oh, look at me. I'm in like my Walmart or whatever big shopping center parking lot. I'm going to summon my car to me. And it's like, okay, great. Why do you need to summon your car to you when it's like a beautiful day out? Why don't you just walk to the car? What I want to know is if I'm standing underneath the awning or whatever it is, at that shopping center, can I summon my car when it's hailing out to pick me up? And, I want to see evidence of that. And I feel like the answer is probably no, that it'll work when it's beautiful out. And it's a great luxury. But when it comes to me getting soaked, me getting impaled or not paled, pummeled by hail, if it's snow, that would be a real treat to see it dig itself out. I don't know that it could do that with the cameras. So I feel like Luminar or LiDAR generally is in the future. And if I was a regulator, I wouldn't want to say it's legal to take this vehicle on the street without a driver behind the wheel, without a wheel in the car, without something like Luminar, because it's a new technology and you can make the easy case with the sun low on the horizon, it being dark out. Other things on the horizon, car lights, or bad weather. I think LiDAR is going to perform much better than cameras as far as informing an autonomous driver. Yeah, and also like the Optimus bots were all like remote controlled or whatever, apparently. So, I like Tesla. I hold a small position, one share of Tesla, which I put a stop loss on. That would be, believe 10% profit. But just, I can't fall in love with stuff. And, I'm in love with Tesla. But I think that the reality is, yeah, I mean, Tesla, Robotaxi event, and Optimus bring both hope and disappointment. So that has nothing to do with Luminar itself, but it's connected there, and I think it looks. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm excited about it. So, anyways, enough of my rambling there, but I feel like that's all like stuff to consider. Like, it's not something you need to look up. You can just think about these things, um, and yeah, I mean, this seems like it's going to be a part of a safer future if we're still using cars, which I think we still will be. Um, so anyways, here I've got this uptrend that's based on the low from September 12th and then the low over here from October 3rd. We did break below it, so it doesn't look so great. Maybe this is a bear flag, but it is encouraging that we did get, this higher close, bullish engulfing candle, engulfing the prior closes, the prior trading from the few days, or at least the candles from the few days. This is also a Dragonfly Doji, on Thursday. So big wick down, closing near the top. So that looks pretty good. Big wicks to the downside, not big wicks to the upside. So that does suggest that buyers are stepping in, holding the price up. And yeah, I mean, this is not volume. Volume's down here. But yeah, MACD is green. It's looking like, it's getting kind of flat, but it looks like it could get another hump rather than it gradually flipping negative. It looks like we might get another surge. And so with that being said, I guess I would look for a close above the high from last week, which was Monday's high, which was about 87 cents. Looks like it was 86.99 to the fraction of a penny. But also, my understanding is there might be a reverse split. It is trading below $1. And so it might be good to just kind of like hang tight and see how it responds to that. This will be the first reverse split for the stock, so I don't think it's like a slippery slope of continued dilution over and over and over. And you can look at like the Mullen chart for that. And I kind of feel like Biora Therapeutics might be like that, so that's when I'm cutting losses on. Don't have a position in Mullen, did attempt to trade it around the last reverse split. I lost like $3 on it. Like $3, that's it. Nothing more than that. Not $3 in share price, just $3. Yeah, just trying to swing that, and it was bad, and it's just bled more. It's just the continued dilution, and so I think that what Luminar's doing, I feel like they've been shorted into the ground, and I think that they're like a long-term investment kind of play. And you could argue that this is kind of like, I would say, like a Palantir, in that people think that they're just doing lidar, but they're also doing the software, they're also doing AI, they're also doing semiconductors, and all of that's kind of like integrated into the package, but that could be applied to other things. And then also partnerships with like Volvo, Mercedes. Yeah, I mean, I just think that this is going to be the new seatbelt that's in every car, LiDAR. It just makes sense. It makes the roads safer. And the more data that they get, the more time that passes. All of this volume here that was pointed out by Scrubs. Focus is ADAS. Laser focus is ADAS. And that's let's see. I need to pull up the profile. I forget what that is. Does that ADAS is like whatever autonomous driving? So what is ADAS? ADAS. Advanced Driver Assistance Systems. And so, yeah, my understanding, not only from what Scrubs is saying, but from chatting with a friend last night, actually, about Luminar, is that their LiDAR focuses on driving, And that's going to be like whether it's frame rate, the speed, all of that stuff that it's specific for driving. Whereas other companies, maybe Microvision, I'm not really sure, but they're focusing on, they're spread too thin. And like butter spread over too much bread, or whatever Bilbo Baggins said. Luminar is not doing that. They are focusing in on auto safety. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that they're a good play, and but it just might be a long-term hold. With the reverse split coming up, it might be going, I don't know, to 50 cents, and that's like $5 a share after a 1-for-10 reverse split. So, but yeah, I mean, this is one that it's like, okay, it's cheaper, I'll add more. And actually, I did have a buy order placed at 69 cents, but I actually removed it because I wanted to buy a Hycroft Mining call that expires in May, I think. But I'll probably replace that buy order once I move some capital around. But yeah, I mean, Luminar, just exciting. Yes, and I will add PAGs and make sure that, yeah, and then PAGs will probably be my last ticker, but I do have a couple more to go over. I did say I'd end this at 9. It's now, or sorry, 9 my time, 10 Eastern. But I'll continue until I finish these tickers. It's 6 after the hour now. And so the next one I've got is Clove and Nameless. I must say before, I'll go over the chart, but I did have a small position in PAGs. I started to get uneasy about it, thinking it looked like a bear flag. And so I closed my position, but it was a pretty small one, just trying to exercise, stop loss, and whatnot. And I had a small profit, and I didn't want to just be spread too thin in different stocks, trying to keep my positions to a maximum of 20. And, so that was one that it's like, I'm not in love with the company, I don't know it well enough. So I took small profit on it. But anyways, let's see. Clove was requested up here. So looking really nice. I can't remember the last time I did a video on it. Maybe I was suggesting that, there'd be a pullback to the 382, continued higher. This, at some point it's got to put a top in. This is, from the lows down here, it's 60 cents. It's up. It's going to be a crazy amount right here. Almost 700% up. And so, I think it's like if I had shares from down here and I wasn't paying attention, I looked, oh my God, I'm up 600%. I'd take at least half of that off the table. Just like, hell yeah. But yeah, for this, I think, let's see. I need to crack my neck a little bit. So the first thing that stands out to me, which may not be significant because it's only like a couple touch points, and we'll see if you could tell what I'm going to talk about. We got this line here. I'm going to draw another one. Got this line here, which is not the exact same days, but this would be lower over here. And so what we have here is a higher high in the stock price and this didn't connect well there. Let's see. Slightly lower high in the RSI. And so that's bearish divergence. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be coming down. And what I think would be more telling is if there was another high, like let's say I'm just going to kind of, draw like a big rectangle here. Like let's say price goes up like that. And then, so let's say there's just a big green candle there. It goes up like that. And then so we connect this to be like, okay, well, it's still, a higher high. Where's the RSI at? If the RSI at that point looks like this, like still a lower high, 3 touch points, that to me is like, okay, well, that's bearish divergence. It's probably going to turn around. And so that would be like the really clear sign to me that I think the top is in. So I do think that there is a chance it could go higher. And I would think to around $4.90, maybe $5 a share. But what stands out to me is this kind of looks like, let's see, let's just imagine this to be like 3 candles there. And this is like a red one, let's see, like there. So big red candle, and then you get some candles going up here. And then we get, what's turning out to be like, a red candle like this. It hasn't finished, forming yet. But this to me looks like following 3 methods where you have big red candle here, 3 smaller candles in the middle. In this case, it's a number of them. And then, this pullback. And so that is, a bearish pattern. We can see that the RSI was above 70. It was at 76.89, then hit the lower high of 73.88. Maybe, like I said, price could be going up to like $4.90 or $5. But I think ultimately that's probably going to be, actually, yeah, this is it right here. I don't know if you can see it. So I'll draw it out for you. I'll make sure Ed's head doesn't block it. So, I'm talking about like imagining this, big green candle here. Screw that. Let's forget about that. Let's forget about these I drew up here. And let's see, higher highs. Okay. We got higher highs in the stock price, higher highs. All right. This doesn't go up to that trend line, but this is a higher high, a higher high. Okay. You get the point there. And then let's do this. Lower highs, that's bearish divergence. That's been going back. Yeah, because like here, like going up to here, higher highs clearly, but also getting higher highs in the RSI. That changed though. So I think that this is probably due for a pullback, and the level that I'm going to actually delete this because this was not a higher high. That's just a Fibonacci retracement. And I don't want to distract it, just looking at the chart. What stands out to you as a level that it could be pulling back to? And, nothing that I've drawn up here. Just thinking about, looking at the chart. This gap's already filled, so I'm going to remove that. The thing that stands out to me is this little hill, this little hump here around 313. Arbitrary, right around $3. And so I could see price pulling back to there. Let's see, I'm going to make that a little bit thicker. I feel like that's where price is going. And that's, down, almost 25% to get to that level from current price. And if, let's say, from the lows over here, I just want to get them on the chart here. And so from the lows over here, let's do a Fibonacci retracement. And maybe that lines up with the 618 or the 786. I could see either of those being, lined up there. So this is 245.5 going up to 471. And so 618 and the 786 right in between there is like $3. So 330 is the 618. Maybe I'm going to add the golden pocket on here. So that's adding the 65% on there. I think this could be coming down to like 325, let's say. Maybe breaking down to $3. And yeah. So I don't know. I'm sorry if that's disappointing. But I feel like if you're in this, you probably, even just from the lows over here. Let's see. Let's get a measurement from there. That is up 46%, even though it was at one point up about 72%. But yeah, I feel like this top is in. And one of the things you can see, yeah, big move to the upside, consolidation, not breaking out. Maybe this is a bull flag, but it's trending up. So that makes me think this is kind of like a weird, it's a bull flag. Like I would think that, this is, possibly going to be breaking to the downside. Because, it's like the level of support is moving higher. You're more likely to break that as support than break out because that's also moving higher. You're more likely to break down in this kind of situation. So I feel like that we're seeing that, and I think that like 325 is like my conservative target for this. And I should say what I was meaning to say, if I draw a line going across from the high here on the 4th, that was at 428.5, we got, a big open above that level, but then a close below with a big wick to the top side, putting in a higher high very clearly, and closing below that prior high. That and closing in the bottom quarter of that trading. So that to me is a topping signal. So yeah, I would say look out below to 325 down to around $3. So hopefully that's helpful. And so real talk, it's possible I'll be able to go over SMCI very quickly at the end, but I've got work tomorrow, so I'm trying not to stay up too late. And so I'll try to go over the next ones kind of quickly, but I haven't really looked at them too much. This is NIVF, New Gen IV. I don't know what it is. United States-based company. The company is Assisted Reproductive Services, or ARS, provider helping couples and individuals obtain access to fertility treatments. And it's fertility treatments and providing two services: in vitro fertilization treatment service comprising traditional IVF, in vitro fertilization, and egg donation, and 2, surrogacy and auxiliary care services. It specializes in the ARS market and the broader healthcare industry. So that's fairly interesting. I don't know how this plays into politics or what's going on and stuff. Or I'm not seeing somebody trying to be a parent or anything like that. So this is not relevant to me, but I've known people who have had trouble getting pregnant, and I think have tried things like IVF. And I think some people it's worked out for, others it hasn't. I'm not really sure, but I feel like that there's a demand for it. But yeah, just looking at the chart and not thinking about any of that stuff, to me, this looks like, the move was here on the 15th. So if you're buying it open, then it went up 159% on that day. And so I think that, maybe this is going to get another move up. You need to see a boost in that volume. It's not happened yet. And so let's just see from the low here at 55 cents up to the high $3.28. We're at the 786. So what I'd say, which I am not doing, maybe it's like a good thing to say, hey, I'm going to buy 100 shares, risk $120, see what happens, but I have a stop loss. And I feel like that stop loss could be the 786 here at 113.4, or it could be these prior lows. Let's see, what was, it's like impossible to, I just want to zoom in so it shows the number of these wicks, but I can't do that. Let's see, what was the low from Friday? I can actually just look up 110. So maybe 110 or $1, maybe that's a good stop loss level. If I were to trade it, I would definitely have a stop loss, and maybe that's a bad idea for something so volatile. Also $1. The close on the 11th was 98 cents. So maybe that's a level, for a stop loss. And maybe this is going to go for another rally. I could see it happening. MACD is still looking pretty massive up there. Did get into the overbought territory of the RSI going up to 79.74. Cooled off some now. It could be, so let's see, what did I say? 79.74. So, it could get up to in the 80s, maybe. But yeah, I would have a stop loss because, I'm just trying to get better with those. And from current price, if it pulls back to those lows, that's over 50% loss. And, who knows how long it's going to be down there. So yeah, I just have a strategy for where to cut losses. Levels that make sense to me, 110, in all honesty, that might get filled. $1 or 98 cents, that seems like, it could be a good level. And actually the high on the 14th, what was that? The high was 99 cents. So yeah, 98 cents, that could be a good level to stop. And then you're risking from current price at 120. Let's see, just get the measurement. That's less than 20% risk to the downside, and just going back up there, that's a more than 100% potential there. So yeah, maybe the risk to reward is balanced in your favor. So yeah, I mean, could be a good one to check out. And so from this one, which I have not looked at before, so I will add that to the DGen Ed watch list, which I don't really ever look at, but just to tally stuff up. Oh, and I should also do that for GWH. Add that to there. And now I will look at PAGs. And then if I have time, if I'm feeling like I can do it real quick at the end, I'll try to do a SMCI. But yeah, PAGs. For me, this just got me. I think it was just like, yeah, I don't know. I think I had, oh yeah, no, I was talking about, I was actually, yeah, for me, my strategy was, well, I didn't have like a clear enough or a near enough stop loss. And so I was thinking, well, I could add, because I got a small position up here, I could add at 777, and then maybe my stop loss will be like this low at around $7, 693. But then I just started thinking, well, but then this is just going to be another one that I'm just kind of blindly adding to. And so I'd say, not fun, but I'd say stop loss like at 8, or like 798, maybe a couple cents lower than that. Because yeah, I mean, like we had, and I feel like there's so much psychology with gaps. I find it really interesting. I'm very curious to see what happens with a number of stocks: GameStop, AMC, I think Hycroft, because there are gaps to the downside that I don't think are going to get filled. And I think this one might be in that same kind of pool. That let's see, what are the other gaps that are over here? Are there other gaps? So there's this gap here. There's another gap here. Wait, let's see. Is this a gap? So is the close at 742, then a low over here of 742. So that gap's filled. All these gaps have been filled. This gap's been filled. Yeah, so that's it. So my thesis with this is not, that, oh, I should add at 777. That to me would be bearish. I think that we need to leave a gap behind so people who are stubborn and are saying, PAGs, I like it, but I want that gap to be filled. I don't want to have that gap hanging over my head. So I'm going to wait for 777. People wait for it. They wait for it. It never happens. We don't break below this low of $8 a share. And that, to me, is like the stop loss level. Or maybe it's just, the stop loss level is just above 777. I don't know. Maybe it's 790 or 795. But I feel like, that's the bottom. That's like the line in the sand. I'll make it yellow so we know it's sandy. And yeah, but for me, looking at this, I think, I just kind of got spooked like, oh, well, if I have buy orders at 777 and then my stop loss is around 7, I don't want to be holding on for that long. I just want this to be an in and out trade. And so if I were to establish a position in this, I'd probably have a stop loss at 795 or right around there. And if it broke below that, I'd forget about it. I'd walk away for a month and then look at it later. But yeah, I mean, this just got me thinking, like, this seems like it's kind of a bear flag. That, not that this means anything, but I guess, let's see, maybe going from, I don't know, I'm going to adjust the days. But yeah, I mean, uptrending even from, this being, it's based on the closes. So this close up here, I could just move it over here and then that gets more flat. But even from this one, it's still kind of a higher close relative to these other ones. Uptrending consolidation. And, I could move this over to here more so. Move this over to there. Yeah, I mean, that's like getting steeper. But yeah, I kind of like it like this. Uptrending consolidation. This makes me a little uneasy. Got these wicks to the upside. Need to see higher closes. And yeah, just like it's trading in this range. And yeah, I mean, it's just like there's not enough momentum behind it. Because like here, we were oversold and went up a little bit and then came back down. Here, oversold, went up a little bit. Now is it going to come back down? This, well, actually, let's consider this with the MACD. MACD up here is red. This is oversold, blip up, and then just kind of fade, and that's green. When it blips up, it starts turning green. Now it's green, blipped up, it's more green. So I think this is looking better. I feel like I'm less, I don't expect it to come down to like 795, let's say. I feel like this is more likely to be a bottom, but I think just for me and having the idea of buying more at 777, there was no bottom. The bottom was too far below for me with, adding at that gap. And so I don't think that gap's going to be filled. I think that 8 or somewhere between 8 and 777 is going to be the low. But if it does break below 777, yeah, I mean, then it's like kind of tough to say where it might be going. Because, there's no uptrend that you could draw. You'd have to draw an uptrend with this pivot point and this pivot point. And so maybe actually, I'll do that and then I'll switch over to, did I move something? SMCI. And then I'll wind this stream down. So yeah, that's from the wrong point and probably the wrong point over here. And so I'm just going to zoom in to adjust that to here. It should be 693. And let's see. Wow, that was lined up exactly where I wanted it to be. Perfect. So let's see, 693 and then $8. Yep, pretty perfect there. And so I got to make that line a different color. Purple. Purple is strength. I like purple. And so, yeah, I mean, that, like, to me is like, those are two pivot points. We did, test it over here. Maybe we test it again, but then we're not going to 8. So that's kind of where I stand with it. I just don't know enough about the company. And since I believe it's based in Brazil, is that right? And so then it's just like international stuff. So there's too many factors. So, but yeah, I mean, I think overall it's looking good, and I think that there's good risk management with like a level right around 8. This uptrend makes me feel good, even though that it hasn't had multiple bounces to feel confident in it, but the more bounces you get, the weaker it is. So this could actually be a pretty notable bottom there at that purple uptrend. So hopefully that's helpful. And SMCI, I will go over that. And generally, I've, closed my short semiconductor position, my short positions. I just recognize that with the end of the year coming, Santa Claus rallies coming, I think that there might be some turbulence around the election, but I think overall, we're going to be green into the end of the year. And I think that we might see the reckoning or whatever, maybe the start of next year, maybe around the inauguration, or maybe leading into whoever is the next president. Not taking political sides or anything, but just thinking about dates, effectively. And so I will switch over to the semis. And yeah, I mean, I talk about this with members in that video that I was talking about earlier. I cut losses effectively at the bottom here. I had a stop loss filled. It sucks. And, maybe this is going to be breaking out. Maybe this is a wedge. It's going to break out. But this looks more to me like a descending triangle than a falling wedge. And maybe it could become a falling wedge, but I would want like a retest of a downtrend. Let's see, like something like, I'm not going to draw this very well. Something like that. Like, I don't think we're at the point yet, where it like could pull back and then go. So like a month, I'll revisit this maybe in the new year, or maybe around the election. I'll be positioned or I'll position myself for a short, and that would be to be more in and out rather than accumulating as a hedge. And so with that being said, SMCI, where is that? Right here. Yeah, I had talked about this having bullish divergence. Lower lows here, higher lows here. Still got that going on. Nothing's negated that or anything. And you got this gap up here. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like semiconductors are probably looking good for the rest of the year. This one's just like beaten down. And so I don't know. Like, I don't know enough about semiconductors generally, like the specific, because I pay more closer attention to NVIDIA. But yeah, I mean, like NVIDIA, like they put in a new high on Thursday. And that could be, we could be forming a double top with a higher high, getting up to 150, and then there being a reckoning after that. I don't know. But it's like, there's just too much momentum in this, like, shorting all time highs. I posted an interview. Pags is like, Nameless is more familiar with them, but I think they're like a Brazilian banking company. I think that he was saying that he was in Brazil and he saw a good amount of their like terminals or ATMs and payment processor similar to Square, but yeah, it's Brazilian, and so yeah, I mean, I think that looking at the chart, I think it looks kind of bearish with that being like a bear flag potentially, but I think there's a clear stop loss level, or just like I don't think it's going to get to filling the gap at 777, um, but. But yeah, I mean, it's an intriguing chart. One that I did swing, but not for much profit, and just because I don't want to be spread too thin, and I don't know enough about it. If Nameless asks about it again next Sunday, maybe I'd be intrigued to have a position, but again, probably just a smaller one. But anyways, yeah, with Nvidia being like higher up here. Oh, and 9. Yes, I'll try to look at 9, but I gotta close this down because I'm an hour and a half. Um, yeah, so semiconductors. I mean, I think it's like I was gonna pull up this interview that I shared, which I'd recommend checking out. So it's from the community tab on the channel. I'm just gonna scroll down to, and like you can see this is like member stuff. I post. Trades and stuff and like give justifications for things. And some of them are like losses taken or profits taken. Congrats to those holding Rocket Lab. Yep, I shared this just because I wanted to let Nameless know. And not this guy. Let's see. Maybe it's, nope, it's further back in time. Let's see. This guy, signs of market reversal. I feel like he's like a no BS kind of guy. I think that he's enjoyable to listen to, and it's just like he's talking about like shorting all time highs. It's like the next. It's just like futile. And so with semiconductors and stuff, so I'd recommend this interview. By the way, I'll do this so it's easier. Recommended from TRL. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's all-time highs, like why do you have to be picking the top? Why do you have to be, saying that? But here, I mean, this is like potentially a topping signal, all-time high, a wick up there, kind of an ugly hammer candle because it's such a big hammer. It's like a mallet candle, but closed at the lows. So that suggests some weakness. It could be in a top. I believe that Jensen has been selling shares. And so, yeah, I mean, like my semiconductor analysis is really all just based on NVIDIA. It could be a top, but we don't have that clear sign yet. And so maybe it's a time to start shorting, but I mean, it just hit a new all-time high. It's probably going to hit another one. So yeah, I mean, that's my bad analysis of SMCI because I just don't pay too close attention to it. But RSI, I think that price could be pulling back maybe to like $44, maybe finding support there, and that being some hope before it maybe goes higher, but maybe not. But yeah, I'm just going to switch back to the requests to go over this final request of 9, which This, yeah, breaking lower. One thing, Gareth Soloway talks about it every single day, whether it's game plan or trading the close. Whenever I share those, I tend to share them on a daily basis. He's pretty bearish on oil. And Nine Energy, I believe, is oil. And that's kind of like the underlying, oil field service company. That's kind of like the underlying tell that the economy's not as good as it seems because, we're hitting new all-time highs, whether that's in Nvidia, whether that's in the stock market, whatever it is. But oil is hitting lower. And so I feel like 9 could be going down similar to that. MACD did just flip red over the past day with this gap down. And so, yeah, I mean, like if I were to have been trading this, I would have had a stop loss probably around this low, which was the low of 104. That's what we're at now. So, I mean, I'd probably put a stop loss at $1 and then, maybe there's a reverse split or something that they have to do. MACD did just flip red. RSI looks like it's trending towards oversold. Not much volume, so maybe that's a good thing that these down moves are not backed by a lot of volume. But this volume here couldn't keep it up. It faded down. And so if I do look at the commodities list that I have here, just to go over, let's see, USO, which is United States Oil. This, was probably like my crappy drawings, kind of, but loosely based on what Gareth Soloway talks about. You see these higher lows here, and now we've broken below that trend line. It's still a higher low. But yeah, this, this consolidation, break below, retest that level. And then we got, a break above, but then now we're back below. So now this is resistance again. And so I don't plan on shorting oil. But if Gareth Soloway's talking about it and I'm compelled by it, I might. So that would be SCO, ticker symbol SCO, which is pro shares. So that means it's like leveraged, I believe, probably 2x. Yep, 2x short. So this is something I might be intrigued to, just around $20 a share. Could have a stop loss from Friday's high, which was, I'm just going to draw this up here in case I'm looking at it at work tomorrow. The high from Friday was 1911. Just going to get this lined up. It's supposed to be magnetic. There we go. Yeah, I mean, but I'm not planning on establishing this. For me, the commodity that I am interested to get into, I guess I'll just end on this and I'll be putting out a video when it does happen. But for me, I want to get into a BOIL position. I was waiting. I have an alert here set at 716, kind of based on this trend line, but we bounced higher than I expected. I had a short. I took my position off the table, so I made a little bit of money. I think 10%. Could have made 20%, but I'm fine with a quick swing. And then it's just faded. I kind of have this alert set at 716 because I thought it'd correspond with this downtrend. Over here, we might be going down to 7 with BOIL. So I'm just waiting here, just hanging out. But the thing that, really stands out to me that I want to be looking at is going to be coming from TradingView, looking at natural gas. And this is something, it's like when, Gareth Soloway's way better than me, and I learn a lot from him. But he, I did this without knowing that natural gas was coming down because I had a short up here, but I exited right here. I could have made more money, but whatever. I'm not chasing it, and I'm not trying to, pronounce that or force the market to I got out of my short here. I want it to go up now. No, I got out of my short. Now I'm going to wait to see when there's bottom. And so I just drew Fibonacci retracement, just kind of approximate here. Where's the golden pocket? That corresponds with these highs here. And so I could see natural gas coming down to around 235 to 240. I've got an alert here, which I've not placed an alert, excuse me, on TradingView before, but at 250. It's currently trading at 266. And so at 250, that kind of sparks my interest. That's around the 50% retracement here. And I actually think that's the level that I was kind of thinking maybe that's a time to start adding or to get a small position. Then, what I did with my short position, I could have done a short position here, but instead I waited. And it's like, okay, that's what I think is good, to establish a position in natural gas after waiting. And so now I'm waiting. And if it comes down to the 50% at 250, you know what I'm probably going to do? I'm probably going to wait some more. But wait for it to come down here. And then that, I think, could be like the ultimate dip before winter. And I think that could be corresponding with, like 716, like $7, maybe $6 even. And then, from there, that could be a really nice hold. Just kind of like set it and forget it. That could be 300%. I don't think it's going up that high, but like at least up to here, that's 100% swing going up to $12. I feel like that's reasonable. So I'm excited about that. And that's just like patience. I'm just waiting for it. And so hopefully that's, an interesting thing for me to end on. But I will definitely be doing a natural gas video when I do establish a position in BOIL, which will not be like one share. I will go heavier because I'm just trying to be more, articulate, in my trades. And so right now I'm not waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm not, I want this to be the bottom, or, I want this to be the bottom. And I'll just continue to average down. It's like, no. And, this could be the bottom. But I'm going to wait until it gets into the golden pocket. And then I will pounce. Oh, and, talking about Gareth Soloway, he didn't draw a Fibonacci retracement. He didn't draw a golden pocket. He just saw, this kind of bump here and was like, I could see price coming down to there, is what he said. And so not thinking about that at all. It's like, wow, like our analysis, two different approaches match up. It's like the Fibonacci retracement by itself maybe has some significance, but really what you want is for it to make sense with the chart. And the golden pocket here at around 240, which is, I believe, the levels that he talks about, it makes a lot of sense. So when this gets down to 240, I guess I'll be alerted. Let's see. I am going to put that at 240. I'm going to be disciplined. And, that's what I'm going to wait for with this. And, yeah. But anyways, thank you all so much for hanging out. It's been fun. I went for 42 minutes longer than I anticipated, but lots of fun stuff to be going over. As you can see from the request list here, some new stuff, some old stuff. And yeah, it was fun. And so with that being said, if you guys have not already liked the stream, please make sure you do that. I will be streaming again on Tuesday, and welcome to all of those who are new members. I hope you enjoy it for the next month. I will be sharing trades that I make, which is either going to be establishing very small options positions that are probably dated into May or June of next year, that are based on, what I see in the charts. I could see whatever gap being filled, a move being gotten to, and so I just try to share that, which is really just like what I go over in the charts reflected in the options, giving myself 8 months for that to be carried out for either 20% up to 100% swings or 2x. And, so maybe that gives you some good ideas. I just don't tend to have enough time for member-specific videos. But I did just put out one last week going over some stuff. And, I do post comments and things like that, share some ideas with members. So, I hope it's value to you guys, 99 cents a month. And it does help out the channel. I do appreciate it a lot. Yeah, so with that being said, I hope you all have a great start to your week tomorrow, whether that's at work or just looking at the markets. I will be at work for 12 and a half hours tomorrow. And but I'm going to be waking up early to be tuning into the charts to place some orders and whatnot. But yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out. Nameless, glad you're still here. I'm not just talking to myself. But yeah, I'll be streaming again Tuesday evening, and I'll be able to go for more than an hour and 45 minutes, so we can just hang out. I'll have a drink that evening. So yeah, I hope the next 2 days are a great start to the week for you guys. Take care, you guys, and yeah, it's been